Happy Saturday, everybody. It is good to be back together talking about books. I hope you've had a great week of reading. I've had a really good week of reading that I'm excited to share a little bit about with you, but I also want to tell you what I did this morning. So, this morning there was a kids' library sale at our library, and I took my youngest and we went and we got so many great books for really cheap. So you're going to hear this from me a lot on this channel, but I am a big fan of your local library. Next week, I'm actually going to make a video about just a lot of things I've learned about the library and how you can get them to often buy books for you that maybe they don't have in stock. And so I'm going to be talking about that more coming up. But this morning, got to spend some time with our youngest getting a bunch of books. And so it was really exciting to just dig through bins and find books for the girls to read in the next couple weeks. But this week, I have been reading Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinneman. I have read six of Matt's other books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and I am pretty close to finishing, just about 50 pages left. And what I will say is this is not Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is a little different, and that's okay. If I had to give it a rating right now, I would probably say it's like a 3 out of 5. It is fine. It has some parts that are pretty interesting, pretty entertaining, uh, but then there's also parts that just kind of landed flat for me. And now I know I have just a little bit left to go. And so I'm going to post a full review Monday talking about the book in detail, giving all of my thoughts. But where I'm sitting right now, I would compare it to like a summer blockbuster from the 2000s. You're going to get your Coke and your popcorn. You're going to go, you're going to see the movie. It's going to be fun and entertaining. And then you're probably not going to think about it much ever again, which is kind of a bummer because Matt's other books, I'm always thinking about Carl and Princess Donut. I love those characters. I love the world that he's built there. And so this has kind of fallen flat for me. It still has some redeeming points, but I'll talk more about that on Monday for you. And part of me wonders if the reason that I don't love this book as much actually isn't because of Matt's other writing, but it's because of the book I read just a few weeks ago, right before I picked this one up. And it was phenomenal. And so I'm going to share about the second book in that series because that's what I'm reading next coming up. And the next book I'll be reading is The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. I had never read John Gwynne before this year, and by the recommendation of one of my friends, we were talking about different books we were reading, and we both kind of talked about Shadow of the Gods. And man, oh man, was I blown away by that first book. I was wrapped into the stories, and not to say that there weren't times that I didn't did enjoy some of the characters. There's three different POVs in this Bloodsworn series, and two of the characters, Varg and Elvar, man, I did not like them for a good chunk of the beginning of the book. I thought Varg was just very kind of wrapped up in himself and was missing the world around him. And so I was getting frustrated with him by just the choices he was making and the thoughts that were rolling around in what they call their thought cage or their head. But I grew to like him by the end of the book. And then Elvar's story, I just didn't totally understand what was going on until about halfway through the book, and then everything made a lot of sense because he kind of gives these three different characters that we have the POVs from. They all have different things they're wrestling with, different things they're going through, and so we're experiencing this world through three different viewpoints, and they have different motivations, different things going on. around them. But the third POV, wow, Orca. She is awesome. She is a bad, bad woman. If you have read the Bloodsworn trilogy, you know what I am talking about. She is a mama that is motivated and on a mission. And I was all about Orca's story. Wrapped up every time I would end one of her chapters. I was like, okay, all right, let's find out what Varg's doing. Okay, let's find out what Elvar's doing. Then I was like, I want to get back to Orca because what John Gwynne does in his chapters is he sets up scenes and then leaves you waiting as you go back to another point of view and then back to another point of view. But it does a really good job of just keeping you invested in the story. It moves very quickly. And so I am super pumped to read Hunger of the Gods next, and then follow that up with Fury of the Gods after that. And I think one of the reasons that maybe Operation Bounce House didn't land for me is because I keep thinking about Shadow of the Gods. That those three characters are just running around in my brain, and I want to get back to their stories. And so Operation Bounce House, it's been fun. I'm glad I picked it up. Glad I gave it a shot. I think Dungeon Crawler Carl is definitely Matt's better work. But like I said, if you are looking for just a fun book to read, that's kind of like popcorn, take a break from the more intense stories, then Operation Bounce House might be great for you. Coming up on the channel, I am going to be on Monday posting my full review of Operation Bounce House with spoilers, going into different details and thoughts on the book. And then next Saturday, I want to talk a lot about, like I said, the library, why I love the library, why I think you should love your library. So I'm curious from you, what book are you reading right now? What's a book that you've read this year, maybe that you loved? Or what book are you picking up this week? And let me know also in the comments if you have read Operation Bounce House and what your thoughts were. Also, let me know if you've read the Bloodsworn trilogy and which character is your favorite. Are you a Varg person? Are you an Orca person? Are you Elvar? I would love to know your thoughts on those books. But I hope you have an awesome week, and look forward to talking more next Saturday about books.